Hello, I've been told I'm live. Am I actually live? Hello, am I live yet? Perfect. Thank you, Chris. All right, welcome everyone. Thank you so much for coming to my panel. I'd say a few words about myself, but there's nothing interesting about myself, so we'll just run a oh, goodbye, good boy. As I said, there's nothing interesting about myself, so let's just get into it. Making your own Telegram stickers. What we're going to be going through here is first tips for photographing traditional art. Oh yeah, is everyone still hearing me okay? Yes, no, maybe. Cool, thank you, Chris. All right, so what we're going to do here is tips for photographing traditional art, creating transparency in alpha channel or an alpha channel. If you don't know what an alpha channel is, don't worry about it. You don't need to understand the technicalities of it. But these two categories here, if you do digital art, then you don't need to worry about these. But a lot of us don't do digital art, so that will be a focus. Next up, adding an outline and shadow. We'll be doing that regardless of whether it's digital or not. And then finally, creating a sticker pack and adding our sticker actually in Telegram. After that, we'll have a Q&A, and depending on how we're doing for time, I'll go over some common problems and solutions, other things, etc. And at the very end, please hang around until the very end. We have an incredible opportunity. Please stay tuned for that. Okay, moving on. What we're not doing. We're not doing animated stickers. That is a whole nother ball of cats. That would be 5 other panels. We're just doing still image stickers, the classic kind. So, and also what we're not doing, talking about drawing good art, because I am not a 2D artist. I'm barely a 3D artist, but I'm not good at 2D art. But I had to produce some to do this panel. So this is what I have. These are my stickers. I don't know what to tell you. I tried to make them as furry as possible, but varying results. Specifically, we're going to be doing this guy. I don't know what the heck this is. It's like a multi-headed creeper of some sort with a Mario Tanuki suit tail. I can't tell you. But that's kind of the point. To a large degree, that's kind of the point. If you are bad at art, make stickers anyway. It is not a competition. These stickers we're going to make are the stickers that you'll make on your own time. These are not going to replace all those ultra cute now and later sticker packs. It's not going to replace all the other awesome sticker packs that people who can actually draw furry art. Well, thank you, wild card, but that's open to debate anyway. This is not a zero-sum game. We always need more sticker packs, so make one. Even if you can't draw anything more than stick figures, it's fun. Make one, because you can express what you can't express with other artists' stickers. Very important to keep in mind. And you can use photos if we have time. We'll see how to do that. You can use anything, and just don't use others' artwork without permission. That's really important. It's a respect thing. So yeah, come on, don't do that. And of course, I can't personally advocate for memes publicly. I'll just say, if you choose to do memes in your own personal memosphere with yourself and other consenting adults, feel free. I'm not judging. If you want to do memes, do memes. But... Ugh, God, no one saw that. Okay. Final result. What we're going to be doing is taking this photograph of some artwork, turning it into this real Telegram sticker that you can use like a Telegram sticker, thankfully. Otherwise, we'd be wasting our time here. So, getting your art into a computer. Some methods. Digital art. We don't talk about that face jade cat anyway. If your art is digital, you will have no problem with this. But also, if you have a scanner, use it. A scanner will really help. But most of us don't have, like, drawing with the mouse sucks, and drawing tablets are expensive, and I don't have a scanner, you don't have a scanner, nobody has a scanner, so just take a photo. So, but there are a number of pitfalls, a number of problems you're going to run into if you try to photograph your art for sticker purposes, or really just for getting a quality version of your two-dimensional art. That's right, you did see nothing, Jade Cat. First off, shadows. If you have a shadow like this on your photograph of your sticker art, that's going to be, I mean, you could remove it digitally, but it would be a lot of trouble, and the results will not be as good as if you hadn't had that shadow on there. So figure out the lighting so you can not have shadows on your photograph of your artwork. Next, bad light. See how this light is, it's kind of this reddish, yellowish tinge. And this happens a lot with, low wattage tungsten light. And I think this was fluorescent, but either way, it's if the lighting is bad, you're going to lose a lot of the color with your stickers. You can still kind of see it, and some of this can be fixed in post, so to speak. When we get into the image editing, you can fix some of this, but it's not going, you're still going to lose color. It still won't look as good, so you want to avoid it. More photography pitfalls. Blurry, out of focus. This happens a lot when there's not enough light, and that's going to be a running theme. If your camera can't get enough light, it's going to not be able to draw proper focus. It'll be blurry, and that will show up in your final Telegram stickers if you don't manage it, if you don't prevent it. Also, smeared, motion blur. This also happens when you don't have enough light, because the camera gets technical, but it's going to be using a low shutter speed. So if your hands aren't steady, like mine are definitely not, it's going to be smeared, and that will appear on your final Telegram sticker. You can remove some of it, but it's better to just avoid it. Next, more pitfalls. There are a lot of pitfalls. Don't photograph it at an angle. Just don't. Because if you really want to photograph it from straight on, from straight over top, or otherwise, because if you use an image like this, it's going to show up on your sticker, and it's going to look smooshed. And we probably don't want it to look smooshed, unless that's your thing. I'm not judging, but it's if you want it to look the way it does on the paper, shoot it from straight ahead. Now this actually, the smushing, you can actually correct that in post, so to speak, when we get into image editing. If we have time, I'll go over how to do that. But again, it's easier to prevent it up front. So the solutions to all of those basically come down to light, more light, even light, light. Don't photograph at an angle, and light, because that's really going to be the main thing that lets you take a quality photograph of your artwork, especially for telegram stickers. So daylight is the best light to do this. Direct sunlight. Here's a photo I took of the stickers with direct sunlight. It was later in the day, so the sun was not directly overhead, so I didn't get a huge shadow on it. That's important to keep in mind. But if the sun is at a good angle, so you can get a photo like this, direct sunlight works great. Also, indirect or overcast sunlight. This I took on my windowsill. It was an overcast day, cloudy, and when it is overcast, like, again, getting a little technical, but the rays of the sun are scattered, so you get nice, even lighting. And if you have a windowsill like this somewhere that gets enough light, you don't have to go out in the cold, because I know a lot of us are New Englanders and it's cold out. I don't want to go outside anymore and take photos for telegram stickers. Just use a windowsill. But again, daylight, best light for this. So the software, GIMP. Now hold on. Not like it used to be. Much has been improved. This is the software I'm going to be using, and GIMP gets a bad rep because it used to be honestly kind of weird. It did some things like really strangely, and it still does a couple of things strangely, but many fewer things are strange. And a lot of people jump into it just expecting it to work exactly like Photoshop, and nothing works exactly like anything else. If you want to do Photoshop for this, you can, but I'm going to use GIMP because, thank you, Todd. You are correct. GIMP is great. The best reason, GIMP is free, like real free, and that's important. These programs, there are several of them that are free to use for personal use, e.g. non-commercial use. These are not free programs. These are at best a marketing gimmick. At worst, they're a trap, because if you are curious about the software and you start it up, you learn how to use it, and you find that you're good at it, you make something great with it, and it's like, oh, hey, this is great. I've made this great thing. I want to share it. I want to upload it to my monetized YouTube channel, something like that. A lot of other things that could fall under the legal category of commercial use, a lot of obscure things, commissions, stuff like that. Legally, at that point, the owner of the software can say, you want to monetize this? You want to actually do something with your work? Pay up. So, which is, it's not cool. It's leading you into a trap where literally, if you want it to be your work, then you have to pay their gateway fee, and that is not cool. Some people would say this is a personal responsibility thing where you shouldn't have used it for something if you didn't plan on paying for the software for which you used it. But creative curiosity should not be punished. And that's what's happening when you try something out of curiosity, make something great with it, and suddenly you have to pay a fee just to do what you should be free to do with that software. So GIMP, free open source, thank you, free open source software, FOSS. Like GIMP, like Krita, another great one, like Blender, my favorite software ever. That's a different category. These are actually free, so I recommend them. Also, GIMP, it does look complicated, as does Photoshop, but you just need to use a few features to make stickers. So if you look at it and you feel like, I don't know how to use any of this, that's fine. That's fine. You only need to know how to use a few different things. Also, if you use other software, you can probably do everything we're going to do today with GIMP. I couldn't guarantee it. Like if you draw artwork exclusively with Microsoft Paint, you might not be able to do much with that. Like Windows XP, Windows XP era, Microsoft Paint. That's like, I can't tell you. But anyway, if you are using Photoshop or any other software, you can probably reproduce all of this in that software. Getting GIMP. GIMP.org. Pretty simple. Click on the download button. It should automatically detect your operating system. It runs on Apple OS, Windows, and Linux. If you're a Linux fur, shout out to all of you out there. Click on the download button, install it. If you have any problems, there are a ton of installing GIMP tutorials out there. Look up one of those. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Any questions so far? I'm trying my best to keep an eye on the chat. So if there are any questions, there will be a dedicated question and answer period at the end. But if you have quick questions, throw them out there. I'll be happy to try to answer them. So let's do this thing. Switching over to GIMP. I'm hoping these menu options at the top aren't going to be excessively tiny for everyone. If someone can't read something, just let me know. I'll read it for you. But after you have gotten your artwork into your computer, in whatever way you choose to do that, you're going to want to just, you can drag and drop the image into GIMP, and it'll load up, and you're all set. First things first, if you want to get into like more complex color correction, we might be able to get into that later. But one really easy thing you can do is go up to Colors, go down to Auto, and click White Balance. This is going to automatically try to correct for if your photo was slightly underexposed, like mine was. So it wasn't quite, the whites weren't quite as white as they should be. So that can, that's a good way to start out. So now, navigating around GIMP. First, the zoom tool. It's selected right now. I'll just click it again to select it. Left click, you can zoom in. And the zooming out is kind of weird. This is a way in which, oh, thank you, Todd Wolfox. Menu auto white balance. Or 4-point font on your screen. Well, then I apologize, Wildcard. You'll have to go by my audio instructions. I'm also attempting to record this, so I'll post it on my YouTube channel if you want to, and announce it on Twitter if you want to do that. But again, that menu option, as Todd Wolfox said, is Colors, go down to Auto, White Balance. Moving on. Clicking on this menu button over here is the zoom tool. And once you click that, you can zoom in with the left mouse button. But if you want to zoom out, you have to come over here and click on zoom out. This is probably definitely going to be too small for everyone to read, but there's an option that you will see over here to zoom out. Left click, that will let you zoom out. Now, panning around in the view. That is, hold down spacebar and then move the mouse. You just click the spacebar, move the mouse around, and that will pan around your view. I'm trying to avoid hotkeys as much as possible, but sometimes they're ubiquitous. So pan equals spacebar. Are people at least able to read pan equals spacebar? Hopefully. I know my stream resolution is low, but cool. Thank you. Oh, dear. No, I've ruined everything. Okay, there we go. So now, the other thing I want to mention offhand is hopefully the only other hotkey we'll need to use is going to be Control Z. Everyone knows this one, or Command Z if you're on Apple iOS. Oh, good. Okay. Geez, that was my bad. I had the output window too low. Oh, that's depressing. Well, hopefully that will continue to be better for you. My apologies for not doing that to begin with. Menu items, yay. I'm new to this whole thing. This is my this is not only my first FurryCon or any con panel, but also my first streaming ever. So if that's the most that goes wrong, I'll consider myself lucky. Moving on. So for anyone who couldn't see, zoom in, zoom out. Once you click one of these, zoom in, click this, left click to zoom out. That's the way it works. Also, the hotkey is Control, but I'm not going to use that because hotkeys are terrible when you're trying to follow a tutorial online. But anyway, the other hotkey I was trying to mention, undo, very important. Control or Command Z. It's also up under the Edit menu, Undo. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. Doing my best. So now, next up, Crop. This option right here, left click on Crop, and then we can left click and drag a box around the sticker we want to work on right here and press Enter. Now let's zoom in a little bit on that. And next up, what we want to do is we want to get rid of my fingers here. So come over here to this button, which is the free select tool, could be called the, I once tried to Control C and knocked over coffee cup. Haven't we all, Fuzzy Dane? Oh my goodness, haven't we all? It's just never that simple. Anyway, clicking on the free select, also called lasso select in some circles, I'm just going to select all around the sticker. Left clicking here and then left clicking here to complete the selection. Press Enter to finalize that selection. And now here's the thing about selection. When we first do that, everything in the middle of the selection will be selected. So for example, the brush tool only works on what is selected when anything is selected. So the sticker area is selected. Anything outside of that, as you can see where I'm painting, is not currently selected. Control Z, undo coffee cup spill. But now I want to go to Select, Invert. Now everything outside of that selection area is selected. So now we can press Delete, and it will get rid of my fingers there, but it's not going to give us what we want yet, which is actual transparency, also called an alpha channel. We'll just call it transparency. So to do that, what we actually Yes, agreed, Todd. So what we actually want to do is go to Layer, Transparency, Add Alpha Channel. So now, whenever we delete anything, instead of just turning it white, oh, excuse me, did that wrong already. Wait, how did I do it wrong? Move alpha channel. Oh, because I have this blank white layer over here. Ignore that, ignore me. When you do it, it won't do that. But when we press delete, it will actually add transparency. So now this checker pattern indicates what's actually transparent. But we're not done yet. I'm done with this selection, so I'm going to go to Select None. You're probably going to use that a lot. And click on the Fuzzy Select tool. Now the Fuzzy Select does what it says under the tooltip, selects a contiguous region on the basis of color. So thankfully, since it's a white piece of paper, we can click here and it does, for this image anyway, it does a really pretty good job of selecting all of the white area. If we zoom in a little bit, I can see that like a few areas over here did not get selected. So what you can do is you can select Fuzzy Select again. And right now it's set to the primary selection mode, which is called Replace. But use this button right here to change to Add mode. So now wherever we click, it's going to add to that selection instead of making a whole new selection. So I can click here to clean up those edges. And if we want to actually have like a really clean edge, you can see there is some white showing through here. Doesn't really matter for sticker purposes, but what we can do is go to Select Grow and just grow it by the number of pixels that we have selected here. This isn't strictly necessary. If this is getting too confusing, ignore this step. But if I select 3 pixels, it's just going to move in a little bit and make that a cleaner edge. So zoom out. And now with all of that white space selected, we can hit delete and we have our transparency. Go back to select none. All right. Any questions so far? Something not making sense? Am I going too fast for you? Please, anyone, speak up. Tell me how to do it correctly. All right. Glad someone is learning something. Thank you, Slippery Stallion. And you are exactly correct, Wildcard 9. It's yeah, don't sweat the details too much. Anyway, so now what we want to do is we want to add the outline, which is not strictly speaking necessary. It's a standard that Telegram encourages, but it's not required. So if you don't want it, don't use it, but I'm going to add it. So for that, we actually want to create a new layer. So this is the current layer we have here. This is with the Telegram sticker artwork there. If we click this I button, it'll actually remove that. So we can see this is the current layer. Come down here to this button, which is Create New Layer. Click it, and it should default to transparency. And click OK. And I want to just click and drag this layer so it is underneath the current layer. Now, what we want to do is click back on our artwork layer, use the Fuzzy Select button once more, and click anywhere in the transparency. Since that is technically all one color, it has no problem selecting all of that. And now, again, this is the outside is selected currently because we selected the alpha layer area. We want to invert that. So invert. Now the artwork is selected again. And now what we want to go to is, again, grow. And we want to grow it by more than 3 pixels this time. Let's try 15 and see if that looks about right. Yeah, that looks about right. You can see that it expanded that selection by 15 pixels, which for what we're doing here, that's a pretty good width for a default Telegram white outline. So now I want to click on the layer, the new blank layer that we just created. And now if we go up here to the bucket fill tool, which will just let us fill an entire selected area with one color, and then go to this, which this black by default square, which is the active foreground color. That means your main color. You can click on it and change its color. So if we wanted a different color outline, we could do that. You can try that if you want. Nobody's stopping you. But I'm just going to do a traditional white one. Left click in here and drag all the way to the left-hand corner where it's white, and I'll give you pure white. Click OK. Now we have a white colored fill bucket tool. And we want to make sure that that layer below is selected. In fact, let's just turn off the top layer. Okay, now we can see the layer that we have below. Left click, fill that entirely with white. And now when we turn on the artwork layer, we have a perfect white outline. So now we want one more layer because we're not quite done yet. Create a new layer. Transparency, fine. Left click and drag it below the white outline layer. Again, I'll just turn these layers off so we can see it. Again, we want to use the fill bucket tool, but we want black this time. Left click here, click and drag in here, drag it all the way down here to pure black. Again, with that bottom layer selected, left click here to fill it. Now we want to blur this. And if you haven't guessed already, we're making the shadow. But before we blur, we do not want to have that area selected. It won't come out right if we do. So go to select and select none to undo that selection. Then go to filters, blur, Gaussian blur. And it'll give us a new window. I'm just going to drag it over here so we can see what's happening. And you'll see the size X, size Y. And if you just left click and drag inside of either one of these, you can increase and decrease the blur of this layer for our shadow. So that looks about right to me. I'm going to click OK. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this. This is the move tool. Left click here. Then we can left click and drag this layer to move it a little down and to the left. Now let's turn back on our outline layer and artwork layer. And now with this bottom shadow layer selected, if you come up here to where it says opacity, you can left click in here and drag and reduce the opacity, which is how transparent that layer is, to make the shadow a little bit transparent. And with that, we're done. You don't need to worry about this yellow outline. That's just telling you that we moved that layer a little bit. So I'm going to zoom out. And any quick questions here? I've covered a lot here. Is there a standard shadow direction for Telegram style recommendations? I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, you might be able to tell by looking at other stickers. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. You might be able to tell by looking at other Telegram stickers, but a lot of them, as you say, Wildcard9, a lot of them don't even use shadows. So worth. It's worth. I'm sorry, I got distracted because I see a problem. But a lot of them don't. I think it's artistic preference. If there's a standard, I don't know about it. Maybe there is. I'll Google it later and feel unauthoritative for not having told you at the time. But moving on, I see that down here at the bottom, yes, the add option is your friend with fuzzy select. And if you have low quality light on your photo, that is going to be your saving grace. So moving on, you might actually run into this, so I'll cover it real quickly. The bottom of this shadow is getting cropped off, and that's going to be noticeable when we actually have the sticker in Telegram. So what you can do is come over here, left click right next to the eyeball icon, and that's going to lock the layer. It's going to give you a little chain icon. Click on this one, lock that layer. Click on this one, lock that layer. What that's going to do is it's going to chain all of these layers together. Now we can come over to the move tool, left click and drag and move these up. That way the sticker is in the middle of the canvas. It's not going to crop off the shadow like it was. Hopefully you won't even run into that problem. I shouldn't have run into it, but I did. So how are we doing on time? We're doing okay on time, sorry. So now what we want to do is I really recommend that you, well, save this, save as, and this is not really what you'd expect it to be. This is more like a save project option. So I'm going to just save it as main, and it's a .xcf file. That is a GIMP file, and that will actually save this as it is with the layers, with everything we have here. And that's a good idea, because if you ever want to change something, if you want to change like the width of the outline, change the opacity of the shadow, any crazy things, it's really good idea to have this all saved. But the thing about Telegram stickers is we need to do one more thing. Telegram stickers have a size or resolution limit of 512, a maximum of 512 pixels on each side. This image currently is 928 pixels wide to image, scale image. The image size, and you want to make sure that this little, oh, video froze. Lost my connection. Oh no. Oh dear, there's technical difficulties. Share my screen. There we go. All right. Windowed projector screen. Allow. Can you see me yet? Anything yet? I'm back. Good. Great. Still seeing me. Still. Neat standby screen. I wonder what that one. So if everyone is still hearing me, I'm going to proceed. Thank you. All right, as I was saying, we want to change the largest of these two numbers to 512. But you want to make sure that this little chain link at the right is connected. If it's broken like this, you're going to end up squishing your Telegram sticker. So if it's broken like this, left click it to reattach it. Select this value, just type in 512, and that is going to automatically scale this down. So we have, it maintains the aspect ratio while also making it no less than 512 pixels on both sides, large. So scale. Now we can go to File, Export As. This is more along the lines of what we would call regular save as, because this will actually save an image file. That's a good question, Chris. The correct image file to save it in is PNG. If you do JPEG, that does not support an alpha channel, so you need to use PNG. I'm going to call this sticker 01.png. Export, and you'll get this options menu here. It doesn't really matter, but your file size will be slightly smaller if you left click here to uncheck save color values from transparent pixels. It's just talking about saving pixels that are transparent, so you can't see them anyway, so that doesn't matter. But just basically all the default settings is fine. Click export. Now we can actually go into Telegram. Where's my images? There we are. So we have our file, sticker1 PNG. And now let's get into Telegram. So the easiest way to access the sticker upload channel on Telegram is to type in anywhere, basically, at stickers. Is it sticker or stickers plural? Pretty sure it's stickers plural. Oh my goodness. Yes, it is. Oh my goodness, I should have cleared my history. Clear history. All right, let's do that once more. If you click, if you type in at stickers anywhere in Telegram, then click on it. I'm using Ubuntu Linux, Todd. Good question. I like the XFC desktop environment, so Ubuntu Linux variant of Ubuntu with XFC. Anyway, so once you get into the stickers channel, it basically is really nice. It basically walks you through it. So you can click on New Pack, and it'll say, yay, new sticker pack. What are we going to call it? This we can call basically whatever we want. This is like a screen name. You can change it, and it can be a duplicate name of anything you want. So I'm going to call this the official, completely unofficial Furpoc 2020 sticker pack. Now it says, all right, send me a sticker. Yes, XFCE, Todd, kudos. And now it says, send me a sticker file. The image file should be in PNG, no bigger than 512, transparent layer, all things we've already done, so we're good to go. But you have to be a little careful how you upload it. For example, on the desktop client, if we left click and drag, we can go drop photos here to send them in a quick way. We don't want to do that. We want to send them without compression. Actually, this sometimes gives me some problems. We'll see if it gives me any problems here. Left click. If you get this, do not click compress image, send. Oh my goodness. Yeah, if you get this, I think this is currently a bug in Telegram. If this happens to you, it shouldn't be happening. What you can go is instead click on the attachment button, navigate to where you are keeping all of your files, and upload it like this. Do not compress image. It should work. And if it shows up like this, that means it's been sent as a file, and it should work the other way as well. Hopefully, when you get around to this, they'll fix that. Now, we have to send an emoji that corresponds to our first sticker. I don't know. Looks unhappy. We'll use this one. Just select an emoji, press enter. Congratulations, your sticker is in the pack. You can keep adding more stickers at this point, but I think I'm done for now, so click publish. You can set an icon for your sticker pack. I normally don't do this, so I'm going to press skip. And now we need to provide a permanent URL for the sticker pack. So this is like your handle on Twitter. It has to be unique, so you can't reuse anyone else's. Am I going to get arrested or get in trouble with the con if I call this Furpoc 2020? Is it even available? Yes, I got it. I'm so sorry. If you want it, Furpoc, I will give it to you. But so now this is the permanent link to our sticker pack. If we click on it, we can actually see it. And if we go into a Telegram room, wait, I need to add it. That was my bad. Add stickers. Go into a Telegram room and click it. There we go. Is that cool? I think that's pretty cool. Okay. Oh my goodness, I'm sitting on the floor and my leg is falling asleep. That's not a good sign. I don't have a good setup for streaming here. So, we did the thing. Q&A, questions, answers, please. We have 14 minutes left. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate that. Questions? No questions? I'll move on to... Oh, yeah, let me throw that up. All right, copy, link. Hopefully everyone has those. There we go. Also here. Take it. I don't want it. No, actually, I do want it. Because we're going to get into that. We'll come back to that. Anyway, if no one has any questions, I'm going to, in the time we have remaining, discuss a few common problems. Duly noted, Chris. Thank you. But I'm sorry, I'm not patient. I'm bad and I feel bad. Okay. Please chime in with any questions at any point here. I will be happy to answer them. But in the meantime, let's move on to some common problems. Telegram rejects my sticker file. Make sure it's a maximum of 512 pixels by 512 pixels. Make sure it's a PNG. Make sure you're sending it as a file, not an image or a photo. And if your Telegram client has some bugs in it, that might be a problem as well. But again, still any questions, please ask them. Moving on. More problems. GIMP is slow. Old computer plus newer phone. This can happen if you have a newer phone that takes very high resolution photos. but your computer is having trouble loading them in GIMP. For example, when we started out here, this image was, I need to know it. Okay. I'm going to open it like this, main view. This image is 3,120 pixels by 4,160 pixels. And this is on my old Motorola G4, a 2016 phone, which was like $150 US. Not a high-end phone, but still it gives you really large images. And these, especially when using the fuzzy select tool, as you say, Fuzzy Dane, don't edit it on an old HP. Yeah, although you can, because the main roadblock here, if the fuzzy select tool is working slowly, or if anything is working slowly, is just that the image is huge. And as you saw, we're going to be scaling it down to just 512 by 512 eventually for the stickers. So you can go to scale image at the beginning and cut this down to like something really low, like 1024. This would probably be adequate. And you can work on it like this, and it should run a lot smoother for you. Unless your computer is really just that old, in which case, I don't know what to tell you, but it's something to try. So the solution is maybe scale down your images. Please feel free to jump in with any questions. Can't select anything in GIMP. Oh my goodness. I still get this. I still have this problem, and I've been using GIMP for years. If you can't select anything in GIMP, first try going to select none, because you probably have everything selected. And if you have everything selected, you can't select anything more. So try select none. Also, try making sure you're on add selection, because if you accidentally moved on to subtract from selection, which you may need to use for certain things, or replace selection, it could be it could still cause you to get strange results when you're trying to select things. So try these two things. It's still going to happen to you. It still happens to me, but those two fixes usually work. GIMP's interface exploded. Oh my gosh, this still happens to me too. If this happens, like pieces of your GIMP break off, like like the panels get broken off into these little panels, or sections of the interface disappear. This happens to me quite often. There's some like way in which you can separate elements of the interface, and I never actually want to do that, and I just do it by accident. But if this happens to you, first, don't panic, because it's horrifying when it happens. That's very important. Don't panic. Second, keep GIMP open. Closing GIMP right away will actually make it worse. So moving on from there, go to Edit. Go to Preferences. Under the Interface section of Preferences, go to Window Management. Is there anything you can do if your image is not on a white background? That is a very good question, Wildcard 9. Let me answer it after I finish explaining how GIMP's interface can explode. Once you're in the Window Management tab, uncheck Save Window Positions on Exit. Very important. And then click Reset Saved Window Positions to Default Values. On the window that comes up, press OK. Press OK at the bottom. Close and restart GIMP. That should solve it for you. Can't remember all those instructions? I can't either. I am going to save these slides as a PDF and distribute it on my Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter or just DM me on Telegram. I'll send you the slides. So if you have that problem, you can fix it and be able to reference anything else I've talked about. But is there anything you can do if your image is not on a white background? Let me open my alternate image that I didn't even know I had in the few minutes I have left. This was a doodle that I wanted to use for a few purposes. I mean, this one is a little bit different because, for one thing, there's no internal color, so you're going to get in answer to your question, Wildcard 9, what you're really going to be looking at is still using the fuzzy select tool. And when you click in here, it's probably going to not select much. It's just selecting little pixels. There it's selected a lot of pixels, but still not much. So what you actually want to try doing is adjusting your threshold here. This is the threshold by which the fuzzy select tool uses to try to select pixels. So I'm just going to undo that selection, increase the threshold, and when you do that, it's going to select a lot more. For example, it's selected almost all of this with all the variations in color and everything like that. So even if whatever you're trying to select is not uniform, using the fuzzy select tool, you'll be able to get a selection. The real reason I was going to use this sticker is if you're trying to do something with like line art, or maybe you want to keep the texture of this, but if we add an alpha channel and delete this, it's going to delete all of the texture that's not surrounded by a black line. So what you can do here is actually use the free select tool again, and instead of using add, click subtract. Then we can left click here, left click here, left click here, left click here, and you're basically just tracing the border around everything you want to select. Connect, press enter. Now, there we go. So that's something you may encounter if you don't have a perfectly enclosed sticker. So it is 14:57 because my clock is set to the 24-hour clock. I'm almost out of time. Thank you so much, everyone. But I just want to say real quickly, incredible opportunity. What's better than using GIMP to format your own stickers? Getting someone else to do it for you. Draw a sticker, draw anything, any reason, any method. If you want to participate in the official, completely unofficial Furpoc 2020 sticker pack, send me the photos. I'm going to be formatting photos. Just send me the bare photos. Send them to me on Twitter at Kevin3Con, Telegram, DM at Kevin3Con, hashtag Furpoc 2020 stickers. We're going to make our own sticker pack. Let's do this thing. Send me those raw photos. I'll do all the work for you for a while until I get tired. I'll do at least the first 20 that I get, because I probably won't get that many. But anyway, that's it. And if you want to follow me, get the show notes from this, follow me on Twitter. I'll tweet them out there, or yell at me on Telegram. I'll get it to you. So, thank you so much, everybody who thought this was a good panel. Thank you. I as I said, first ever panel, first ever streaming. Only had one major glitch. We kind of recovered from it, except my thing is showing. So, yes, thank you all so much. This was great. Very great. I have 2 minutes of what do we do? What do we do? Run away.
Silver Gato Man, he bought me a coffee. Silver Gato Man, here is the song for thee. He likes to video all the panels at the cons. You should go and watch them whether they are short or long. Silver Gato Man, you video that's not a jibe. All of you go to his YouTube channel and like and subscribe.